Hey guys. Just having a quick afternoon smoke before I go to work. Ooh, she's a warm one today. Smoking some Firestorm. Hey Joseph. I am puffing on some Firestorm by Russ Willett. It's a vapor. Hey Everett. It's a vapor with a little bit of dark fired in it. What are you smoking, Joseph? Are you smoking anything? Are you smoking, Everett? What are you gonna pack? Paladin or Carter Hall? I never had Paladin before myself. Go for Paladin. Haunted Bookshop for Everett. Naked Olive Wood. I like olive wood pipes. They look nice. I used to have one, but I think it cracked. Ah, medium cherry. Nice. I haven't had a cherry blend in a while. I like Borkum Riff cherry, believe it or not. What other cherry do I like? Oh, what is it called? Blood Red Moon. I don't know why they hate cherry. What I want to know is why it's always cherry. I like strawberry, actually. But cherry, maybe because it's so common. It used to be so common. People just like to pick on what's popular, what's common. Same as Carter Hall. I remember when I first started checking the forums, everyone was down on Carter Hall and all those over-the-counter blends, but I like them. I wish I would have started on them sooner. I guess too, it's just probably what happens is Kendall Black Cherry. I haven't tried that. I do have Cherry Cream by Kendall, by Gowth and Hogarth. It's good too. But I think just a lot of the pipers that you hear of that quit smoking aromatics, they probably just get tired of, they're into these regular blends, and people are the average Joe is like, oh yeah, I got Borkum Riff Cherry, and they're like, cherry, why don't you try a real blend? That's probably their mentality. Borkum Riff Cherry, yeah, I like it. I think it's got a good tobacco in the background too. Like, it's a good, even if you don't like aromatics. It's got a nice, it's got a nice, it's not just cherry flavor, it's got a nice kind of toasty taste to it. And it doesn't bite me. A lot of people complain that the Borkum Riffs bite, but I don't find that. This is good. It's kind of a sweeter, it's almost got like a cinnamon flavor to it. It gets spicier as you smoke it down. I like Carter Hall. It just bites me for some reason. So I just go with half and half, or I'm trying to think of another Carter Hall alternative that I smoke. Just any good cube burley. Oh, really, Everett? A lot of people say that it bites. Do you like vapors, Everett? Using a filter, but sometimes the filters get a little plugged up with charcoal dust. How's the video quality? It's a little windy, but shouldn't be too bad. Nice, Everett, yeah. I went through a phase when I couldn't get enough Latakia. Last night, what did I have that had Kentucky in it? I had, what was it? Can't remember. I'll think of it in a minute. I had some Gowth and Hogarth Dark Bird's Eye, and then I also had something that was really dark, that had some good dark fired in it, and I can't remember. Yeah, I like aromatics too. Change it up. I had some LL, no, not LL7, RLP6 yesterday at work. Everybody was commenting on the smell. They really liked it. That's what's nice about the over-the-counter burleys is they taste aromatic to me, but they also have a nice tobacco taste as well. I really like half and half, and that's my burley of choice. I can taste the Virginia in that too. The bright Virginias really stand out. No one ever comments on that, but I can taste them. And there's another one, Bourbon Street, is really good. A really good burley too. It's really sweet. No, I love over the counters. They're probably half and half is probably my like go-to smoke. Yep. And of course all the other ones. Sir Walter Raleigh is good, and Velvet. Man, I've been just burnt out the last 2 days. I was out kayaking a couple days ago, and then I went to work. I was so tired, and then the last 2 days have been so hot. It's just wearing me out. Hey, Chad. How you doing, buddy? We're just sitting here. I'm just having a smoke, and I thought I'd go live because I got nothing to do, and I thought we could just chit chat. Sutliff Ready Rubbed Match. Sutliff. Yes, that's really good too. I would smoke more of the. I like that, yeah, as well as the Lane Ready Rubbed, but sometimes it dries out my throat. Sometimes. I knew I wanted to smoke a lot today, so. Hi. Glad to hear that, Chad. Yeah, no heavy topics or anything today. I'm just sitting on my porch. I thought I would go live, and then whoever wants to show up, we can just hang out. And if it's just me, that's fine too. What are you smoking, Chad? Or are you just hanging out? It's bugging me. I'm trying to remember what I smoked last night. I couldn't sleep. Sometimes I come home from work and I try to sleep right away, and then I must be still wound up. So I sleep for about half an hour, and then I get back up. Hey, Jean. Favorite retired. I'm not retired anymore. I was semi-retired there for about 8 years when I was on. Oh, Rustica. Nice. And a Bing's fave. I had Rustica. I went through. I smoked it a lot when I first got it, and then I just started smoking other stuff. And that's that'll be my next smoke for tomorrow. Some Rustica. What was I talking about before I got Dark Flake scented? Really good. Very few tobaccos that I don't like. Just ones that I can't taste. What do you think of that Rustica, Chad? Oh yes, retirement. Thank you. I was on a weekend shift, so I was working Saturdays and Sundays, and I had the rest of the week off. And then just the whole economy slowed down, so they can't really. The new guy that runs the plant, he doesn't like the idea of paying like the overtime on the weekends. But I'm telling you, my job is to clean all the presses and to it's kind of hard to explain, but you really want to be uninterrupted. And since I'm doing it during the week now, like I'm back on a regular 40-hour-a-week shift, they're still running production, and I'm trying to work around everybody, and it's just so inefficient, you know. But that's what they want, I guess, you know. Like people from upstairs don't understand, I don't think, totally what goes on downstairs. What happens on paper isn't always reality. So yes, I'm working 40 hours a week, and I'm on an afternoon shift. So I go in at 4 p.m. in the evening, and then I'm done at midnight. So that's what I do. So no longer semi-retired. It was a really nice run, though, while it lasted. That's for sure. There was a Smoking Pipes did a little review on this tobacco called Chicombe Number 4, and they kind of sold me on it. Just a straight Virginia with maybe a little bit of freak in it, but it's more on the lighter side. It's not the real dark spicy, or tangy. It's more of the bready, kind of sweet Virginia. And it was only like, I think it was $8 or $9 for a tin, so I figured I'd get a tin, try it out. I don't spend a lot of money on stuff, so I don't mind. Tobacco is my one thing that I like to, is that one major expense, so I don't mind spending the money, getting a new blend here or there, or buying some cigars. Although cigars are expensive, it's what I like, and that's what I want to buy. Sometimes I feel guilty for spending as much as I do. The Chicombe Number 4, I don't think it's a replacement, because the other ones are all aromatics. So, I mean, what would they be replacing, right? So, as far as I know, it's not a replacement. It's a Virginia. It's sort of like an Orlik Golden Slice style of tobacco by the sounds of it. And I like those kinds. So, and especially in the hot summer, I like to have a nice Virginia. Yeah, and it's made by Coalhouse and Copp, so that's nice. It's something different from every other blend anymore is either sourced from Sutliff or looks nice there. A couple lonely clouds. Yeah, it's beautiful. Just a light breeze. It's hot, but I don't mind the heat when I'm at home. At the factory, it's a little bit. I don't even mind the heat at the factory. It's just it makes you tired a little bit. It kind of makes you drag. So. But I don't mind it. I'd rather have the heat than the snow. Some bacon? Bacon, John? What's bacon? Is that a typo? Tobacco. Ah, that's what you meant. There was Coalhouse and Copp did do a bunch of replacements for Dunhill, but I don't think it was Chicombe. I don't remember who did those. Auto correction, yeah. I like it, but it doesn't always work properly. So what are you smoking, Jean Panzer? Chad's smoking Rustica. I don't know what Everett's smoking. Joseph is smoking. Yeah, no kidding. Bacon. Tobacco. Joseph is smoking Paladin Cherry. Trying to think what other Coalhouse and Copp I have. John Ellsbury Virginia Flake. It's really good. McConnell's Red Virginia. How is that? Oh, yes. That's right. Haunted Bookshops, whatever it's smoking. Sorry about that. I knew that. All these blends I forget. I forget that I have that Haunted Bookshop sounds good too. Because I was trying to decide what to smoke today. Earlier I had. What did I have? I had a vapor of some sort. I must be getting old, forgetting things. Oh, I had Verprati earlier. That's what I had. It's a good vapor too. Big and Burley, that's more of a cold weather blend for sure. Red Virginias, I actually like straight red Virginias, depending on what it is. I really like the small batch red Virginia. Vaprati. Yeah, it kind of was, I think it was kind of, had a little cult following there for a while. And I haven't smoked it in a while either. That's what I kind of was looking around for something. I wanted something Virginia Preak, but I didn't want some of the newer stuff I had. I wanted something kind of more brighty. And Vaprati's a good mix. It's got a little bit of dark fired in there too. So it's got a little bit of sweet smokiness to it. Yeah, Bob's Chocolate Flake. I want to try that sometime. Bruno's good. Another good summer blend. Hey, my daughter's on. Hey, Rachel, what are you up to, kiddo? We got to go fishing. We got to go to Port Bruce sometime or something. It's my middle daughter, Rachel. How old are you now, Rachel? 21? Don't worry, I can't remember my own age. 23? Holy cow. I got a 23-year-old, and that's not even my oldest daughter. My son's back from school. I hardly ever see him. I gotta kick his butt. He needs to go see his dad. John says hi to you, Rachel. John's a great guy from Switzerland. I got it right this time. What did I used to say? You were from Sweden. Who did I get mixed up? NY Piper? I think I call him New York Piper, but it's New York Piper, which is like in Toronto, which isn't too far from here. Yeah, Everett, if you want, you know what we could do? We'll make a trade again. If you want, I'll send you some stuff too. I know, I love it too. I don't hear as much from my kids as I would like to, just because I think they're like me. I have to be pushed to, I live in my own little world. It's not like I don't. Okay, well, whatever, Rachel. If you have to go, that's fine. I'm in my own little world, and sometimes I don't say hi to my parents or connect with my family as much as I should. Not that I don't want to. I just don't think of it sometimes, right? Or we go in phases where my dad and I, we talk a little bit, but we'll go through phases where we hang out a lot. We'll go fishing or go golfing or something, and then we'll go through a long period where we don't connect for a while. It's all good. How many children do I have? I have 3. I have 2 girls and 1 boy. So I'll do a video sometime. I think I have an old video with Alana when she first got pregnant. It's there still sometime. I think it's Aromatics as a Grandpa is what it's called. And Rachel's never been on one, and neither is Donovan. So I'll put Rachel on the video sometime if she wants. And my boy too, if we ever go out fishing or whatever. He's in university now, so he's always gone. My daughter lives in a real beautiful house out in the country. I've done some videos there, but she wasn't in the videos. My sister has a nice little hobby farm, and she's got some horses. And I'd love to set my chair out, and they're really, not horses, cows, little cows. And I'd love to set my chair up and smoke a pipe, and the cows will come up and you can pet them. It'd make for a nice background. Oh yeah, we haven't been able to connect this summer either, yeah, because of the COVID. There was a couple nice days earlier on that I wanted to go down and see my oldest daughter, but I couldn't. And my ex-wife, she works, she's in a PSW, so if I were to make my kids sick and she were to see my kids, it would just be a big... So I wasn't afraid to break the rules a little bit at that time. But I thought it might not be a good idea because I didn't want to get everybody to take a chance with my kids or my grandson or whoever. I haven't heard from Redcoat in a while. I think he must be busy with his. It's hard to connect with people when you're busy with your own channel. Everything back to normal in Canada. Um, it seems like it. There's still like people wearing masks. Like we still wear masks, and they have a lot of stuff set in place. At work, we have walkways, and the grocery stores have lineups where you have to keep your distance and stuff. But as far as day-to-day stuff, it seems like everybody's getting back into the swing of things. Beaches are starting to open up now. Patios are opening up. Restaurants, you can't go into the restaurants, but they're trying to make it in our area so they can set out a patio outside and have like reservations so they can keep their business going. What's it like in Switzerland? And is it hot where you are there, Chad? I know you're quite a bit further south than we are. Here it's the humidity. It gets hot. Like today it's, I don't know, it would be 29 degrees Celsius, whatever that is Fahrenheit. But it's just sticky. How old are your kids, Everett? Yeah, Everett lives in Canada too, so he probably has some more stuff to say about it. No masks, no restrictions. Nice. 96 tomorrow, not bad at the moment. Good. Yeah, 96 is pretty warm. I think with Celsius, it doesn't have quite the range. Like we go from, like I think our cold would be like -15, and our hot would go to 30. Whereas with Fahrenheit, I think you can go all the way from like 30 to like 100 and something. Like I think it's a wider range. 25, 23 twins. Wow. 3 girls and 1 boy. Nice. I'm glad I got married. A lot of people get married or have kids when they're older, but I'm really glad that I got married and had kids young. I don't regret that at all. Worked out great, especially when I was in my semi-retirement phase there. I had lots of time to enjoy myself. We don't know what there's a little bit of gloom and doom where I'm working because we have lots of work right now. It's busy right now, but it doesn't look like we're losing some business. Like contracts are up at the end of the year and we don't have anything to replace them. So nerves vanish when you get older. If you make good decisions, I guess. I definitely feel much better, more confident. Don't worry about as much. You go through so much, like you've already been through so much that you learn to just take it day by day. Graduated from college and university. Nice. We're just not so busy when you're older. Like it's all done now. Like I know people my age that are just having babies, and they're just so busy. They had all their fun when they were young. Contentment, totally. That's right. As the Apostle Paul said, it's not just being content with a little or with a lot. It's in both. Like, if I have a lot of stuff and a lot of things to do and a lot of money and a lot of resources, I totally enjoy it. I like it. But I've also learned that if all I have is my pipe and a book for a long period of time, then I'm happy with that too. And just relaxing and enjoying just being alive. But that's hard for a lot of people. So a lot of people, it's just got to be more excitement. And if they can't get more excitement or get more stuff, then they get depressed. Yeah, I can't imagine having kids either. Oh, I'm sure if it happened, I've seen it. I got a buddy that they weren't supposed to be able to have kids, and then he's older than me, and they just had a kid a while ago. But I guess you just get used to it. Yes, Paul was a wise man, for sure. Yeah, he's a good example of someone that was like could have been really snobbish, because he had such a great scholarly background, but yet he really became a humble person. Whereas you see people like King Saul, where he was started out a real humble person, and when he became a king, he ended up getting uh, proudful. It'd become a killer meal. Yeah, regular sleep. I need my sleep too. Absolutely. Chad, you asked me what my I think you asked me what my no what my favorite Bible character was once, and I never did answer that. That was like one of my VRs years ago, not years ago, but when I first started my channel. I'll have to do that sometime. 58 with a 4-year-old. Wow. Are you enjoying it? I'm sure you are. Like I said, if you're a smart person, shift work is hard on the system. Yeah, although we have shifts, but we usually just post on a shift, so we don't rotate. Like you can, sometimes you get bumped from shift to shift, but you're usually consistently on the same shift. So that's good, I guess. Yeah, your brother, but you got teens, so that's probably a lot of work too, especially with Facebook and everything. Always keeping an eye on stuff, making sure the kids are staying out of trouble. Who's your favorite Bible character there, Chad? I don't know if he's my favorite character, but I'd love to do like a little expose on King Saul. I actually like everyone is so down on him, but I actually thought I feel bad for him because he didn't want to be king, and he looked like a real simple kind of guy. If you look at his beginnings, like he didn't look too bright to me, but he had such a great beginning when he at his first being a king. I thought he was an awesome king. Like he really helped the people. He was loyal. He didn't do like some of the mistakes that David did, but he just got so proud at the end. Like he lost his way. But I liked the first beginning of King Saul. I thought I relate to him. Like it's like a lot of us. We think we're better. We're better, but when sometimes if you put us in the wrong crowd or give us too much stuff, too much power, you can see how it can corrupt you. What's that saying? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Some distinguished gentlemen sounds good. Mine are well grounded. Good. Good. I was not. I was an okay dad. I was. My. I let my wife do too much of the. We kind of had a power struggle, her and I think I let her do too much parenting. boy with the loaves and the fish, the woman at the well. Nice. You know, a lot of times we find them like these minor characters, but there's lots to a lot of little details and things we can get out of them. That's cool. The little characters. You know what character I was thinking of the other day is there was a king. I can't remember his name. It was a king in the Old Testament where I don't know what like it's so different. Our leaders, are the ones that are behind the scenes, they get everyone else to do their dirty work. But back then, it was like the kings were the leaders. They were in the front doing all the battles and stuff, right? And there was one king that it wasn't even his battle. There was a fight where Egypt was going to fight up north against the Medes, I think. And one of the kings of Israel, he just wanted to fight. And the Egyptian king was like, "This, what are you doing here? Like this battle doesn't concern you." And God told the king, don't do it. But the king wanted to fight anyway. And I'm like, what kind of, and he died in battle. But I'm thinking, you don't have leaders like that anymore. That's for sure. But that was an interesting story. I don't really get the point of it. I think maybe the point is maybe sometimes we meddle in fights and gossip and other people's problems and we get ourselves into trouble. Like we should mind our own business or something. Other than that, it's an interesting story. I don't know if you've ever heard that one, Chad, or anyone else. Did I cut out? I must have cut out there for a minute, guys. Did I miss anything? What book is my favorite? Yes, I did. My favorite book. It's hard to say what my favorite book is, but probably Proverbs, because I think everybody can get something out of it. It's just common sense. I think every young person should read it. Um, but I'm at the point now where actually I enjoy the stuff that I used to hate. I really like the genealogies. Yeah, I like the genealogies because now that I know all the lands and all the people and what happens, I like to look at where they came from and their backgrounds, like who was Hittites and because a lot of the famous characters were like Moabites or Hittites or stuff like that. So I like to see the patterns or Canaanites, things like that, and how that might have influenced their decisions later on down the line. And I used to, when I first started, I loved the New Testament. Do I read it? Um, John, Proverbs, Corinthians, James, yeah, John is great. Good, like gospel principles. Corinthians, because it's sort of like Paul correcting the church. Do I read? I used to try to go through it like 4 times in a year, believe it or not, and I did for a couple years, and then it's terrible now. I may go through it like once a year, like that, which is great. But for me, yeah, I probably read it through. I don't know, maybe 12 times, and like 12 times altogether. And yeah, I threw out all my commentaries and all that kind of stuff because I found that yeah, I'd rather just read the source. But I've got a real now it's just so much better. I got a whole overview of everything, especially the Old Testament. I didn't really understand it. Now I got a really good grasp of it. I still don't remember a lot of like exact names and stuff. I'm not really a name guy as much as I am a concept. Like if you were to explain to ask me about like a certain topic or a concept or something that happened historically, I would know where that's at. But if you were to name like a certain king, certain like the smaller kings, it might take me a minute to click in which king is which. Thanks, John. The reason I did that was, or started reading was, well, I always read it, but then when I first got separated, I was kind of like, I want to do a video. It should be called the worst the worst time of my life. And there was like about a year where it was just me, and like when my family and everyone left, and it was just me on my own, and it was like my neighbors kind of like everything was awkward, and I was on my own. And I, hello neighbor, I did a lot of like reading, and I just had to learn to be self sufficient, and that's when I first started reading, and so I would just read, and I got in the habit. So I'd read it. I got a note taker's Bible, and all I did was read just my Bible. After the second time through, I realized my commentaries were steering me a lot in the wrong way. So I just started making my own notes and stuff, and then, but as I started getting my life back on track, I slowly didn't read quite as much. But I go through phases. To me, it's more important. A lot of people read a little bit every day, which is good. You should do that. But I usually try to read big chunks. I'd like to read big chunks every day. But unless you read like, a lot, you miss a lot of stuff in between, a lot of the details. Just reading a little bit at a time. Um, it's good. It's good to edify yourself. But when you read a whole bunch, you get the whole picture. You get there's more than just your little verses. You got to put it all together. Thanks, John. I learned a lot, and those hard times, even though I went through them, and I wouldn't want to go through it again. I would not want to change it. Those were when I grew the most. Looking back, it was like, man, that really helped me get confidence and self-sufficient, and well, God sufficient, self-sufficient. Um, yeah, for sure. This might bore you guys. Humor me for a minute. I'll give you a for instance where I really found that reading a long, like a bunch at once, was really good. Where I learned something. Okay, I don't know if you remember, but Elijah had it was Elijah or Elisha. I think it was Elijah. He had a servant that would wash his hands, and his servant ended up going back and getting money when he wasn't supposed to, so he got cursed with. Actually, skip that. Remember when, some of you might remember, when Elijah stayed at this old lady's place, and this old lady, he would always like give him a place to stay as he was going through doing his preaching. Well, one day Elijah wanted to do something nice for her, so he asked her what to do. And he said, he asked her three things. Do you want me to speak to the king for you? Do you want me to, I can't remember the other two, but there was three things that he asked her, and she said, I don't want any of that stuff. So he's like, what do I do? So he gave her a child because she was childless. Well, if you read like at the end of the chapter, like it would probably take you maybe 45 minutes or an hour to get to the end of the chapter. That servant was speaking to the king. Like the servant was gone, like wasn't with Elijah, I don't think anymore, but he was talking to the king. And he was saying, oh, there was this time, like he was bragging about the stuff Elijah would do, his miracles and stuff. And he says there was this one lady where she couldn't have a child, and she had a child, and then he died, and he brought her back to life. And all of a sudden, that lady shows up to the king because she was gone out of the country because of a famine, and she came back, and she wanted her land back. And the servant said, "This is the lady that I was talking about." And the king gave her land. He gave her the three things that Elisha was originally going to give to her. He gave her, she got spoken to the king, and he gave her land back plus extra, and whatever the other two things were. So I would have never connected those two things. That's pretty amazing that she never asked for those things, but those things ended up being given to her anyway. So I was like, that was pretty cool. So anyway, whatever that story does for you, I thought that was pretty cool. And another one I noticed was pretty big was, I don't know if you guys remember King Saul. There's one really bad thing that he did where he was chasing David around, and then these priests gave King David a sword. And when King Saul found out about it, he killed all 15 of those priests. And I thought, that's pretty evil of him to do. And it was. But if you looked, those priests were in the line of Eli, and Eli got cursed by Samuel because he wasn't controlling his kids. So the curse was all of your children would die before they got old. And those 15 priests were in the line of Eli. So that was sort of part of their curse. So they were due to die anyway. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I wouldn't have got that either if I wouldn't have read like a big chunk at one time. Anyway, getting off on the tangent here. Haha, what you intended for evil, God intended for good. It's a Joseph quote, eh? It's those little details that when you read on your own without a commentary, like I've never seen a commentary ever mention that. Like, and I think that's pretty, that's pretty commentary worthy. Oh, I gotta go to work tonight. It's the anticipation of working. Kind of wrecks your day. But I'm just getting back into the schedule of things. Once I'm on it for a couple of months, it'll be all good. It's just getting used to knowing you have to go to work every day. On the day shift, it's different because you just wake up and go. You don't have time to think about it. But on afternoons and midnights, you're already doing something that day, and then you know you got to go in at some point. What do you do, Chad? I know a lot of the other guys on here are probably retired. And what do you do, Everett? I probably already know these answers, but I forgot. Ah, you clean a casino. How's that job? Is it dirty? Medically retired. Ah, okay. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Homeschooling. I'm glad if I could go back out homeschool my kids too. We wanted to homeschool our kids, or my wife did, and I was against it at the time because I just I know she's capable of it, but I didn't know if she would stick to it. So, but if I could go back, I would. Nasty. I figured it could be, yeah. It'd be, could have its moments. Every job has its moments. I know Ghost Cobb. He's really injured up too. His back or hips or legs. I don't know how old Yardism is. I'm 46, born in 1974. It's getting windy. Hopefully it'll slow down here. Is the wind coming through on the microphone, guys? Yeah, I wonder what happened to Ghost Cobb. If it was like work related, or if it was just genetic. I know he loses feelings in his legs and stuff. Has a hard time driving and walking. Okay, good, Everett. Yeah, how's the quality? Other than the wind? Decent? I know sometimes my videos I look back and they look a little rough. Ooh, yeah, replacement hips, that would be tough. Especially in the US, I don't know how that gets paid for, but 45, really, Everett? Nice. So we're the same age. Yeah, Everett, you and I will, I'll make a list of things that I think you might want tobacco-wise, and we can make a trade. Who are we talking about, Jean? 45-year-old too. Haha. Go Scott. Oh, he was in Switzerland? For what? I'm waiting for my neighbor to bring me a tobacco plant. He said he would give me a tobacco plant. Yeah, no rush, Everett. I got a friend sending me some Gowth and Hogarth and some Germain blends, I think, so I'm interested to see what he's sending me. I think I remember him saying he went to Switzerland, but what did he go there for? Just for vacation? You got the pipe acquisition disorder there, Everett. There's one pipe I really want. It's 200 bucks, which isn't that expensive. It's decent, but it's a Butts Shockwind pipe. It looks like a fake, not a fake, but it's a briar pipe, but it's got a wood top on it that looks like. Oh, that's great, John. Good for you. One of these days, maybe Christine and I will come up to Switzerland. She would love that. I would love that, but she's a traveler. I'm just getting to that point in my life where I'd like to travel. You like so, but I've heard they smoke hot, but I mean every pipe's different, so that I don't know a lot about pipes really. So I usually don't have a lot of expensive ones. Yes, John. I will once I get things situated. If I get my money all sorted out, I would love to do that. Oh yeah, the Butts Shockwind pipe. So it is it looks like a calabash. It's just a regular pipe, but it's got a wood top and a wood shank, and it's just beautiful. I love the look of it. But I don't think it's filtered. But it's what I wanted for Father's Day. But we'll see. What do you think it would cost, John, to go to Switzerland, like to fly there and back? Nice, Chad. I'll look on your videos. If you have any videos that have that pipe in it, I'll just look out for it. The only problem with buying pipes is I find that I've bought some ones that I really like the look of, and some of them I just can't break them in. I just don't like the way they smoke. So I'm afraid that Butts Shockwind will look really good, but I won't enjoy smoking it. Rossi. I always wanted a Rossi Author. Friday 7 Ellie. Nice. I'm sure you'll like both of those. I'll smoke one for you today. Thanks, Chad. There's another video I wanted to do. I might do a separate channel because I love like theology and that, but I don't want. I know a lot of people are offended by it, which is fine. So I thought I'd do a different channel where I might just make it theology dependent, and or like the topic, and then people could go there for that. But you wanted me to talk about once. You did a video, Chad, and I said something about I don't believe in debates, and you were asking me why. So I wanted to do like a video on why I'm not into the whole debate when it comes to theology. Nice. Well, what I was going to do, Chad, is I memorized. Also, another thing that I did when I was reading, when I was going through my Bible, like back then, I started memorizing verses, and I probably got about 200, over 200 memorized that I thought were for every topic. Like, so say there was a topic that instead of just trying to discuss it and to debate it or to argue it, what I would do is I would just have like 2 or 3 verses that would just explain that topic. So whenever someone would ask, like, when something would come up, I would just be able to quote it. So what I was going to do is do a video and go through my quotes, and each video will just be that quote or that verse that I memorized and why I memorized it, like just kind of expand on it a little bit. So it would just be a smoke and a verse. And then if there's, sometimes there's videos where people, like say there's one lady that's an atheist, and she, so if there's other videos that have they ask a question, I could do a video on that with my point of view. But it wouldn't be a debate. It would be, this is just a verse, and this is just why I believe this certain topic. And then if they wanted to, like, instead of debating it, if they had another question, I would just do another video. So because I believe in, Paul says, God chose the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe, not the foolishness of debating or stuff like that. So I believe, like, people preach, and either people listen and they get it, or they listen and they don't. I don't think there's a point where you have to try to, like, convince somebody, like bang it into their head and try to go on and on and on. I think if you are looking for the truth, you will either get it or you won't. I'm not saying there's not a time to discuss or to in certain circumstances, but to just go back and forth in a debate, I think that people are usually entrenched in what they believe, and I really rarely find debates actually change somebody's mind. But that's up for discussion. That's just my point of view. Yeah, I agree with that too, Chad. And especially, like, say you're like-minded and you're trying to hash out something, or you're just having a friendly discussion. Totally, I totally agree with that. But like, say, like where you see online debates, creation versus atheism, I find them kind of, well, I'll get into that on a different day. But yeah. Although I love, the problem is it's not because I don't like arguing or debates, because that's in my nature. I love debates, and I love, but I, just because I love it doesn't mean I believe it's right. So, well, boys, I think I'm gonna have to get ready for work, boys and girls, or whoever's watching. I'm gonna have to get ready for work. I don't want to. I'd rather just stay here and smoke and hang out with you guys, but don't think I can. So glad you guys could show up, and that was fun. And I hope you guys all have a great day. And I've started a series called Conversation with. I'd love to have you on. I'll look out for you. Yeah. Yeah. Just before I go, Chad. Yeah. I think the problem is I love debates, and I get going sometimes, and I think that's sometimes why I wasn't watching some of your lives for a while, because I was enjoying. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get into this too much, but then yeah. But I'll definitely show up, and I'd love to get some conversations and be part of that with you. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later, and have a good one.